1585. $15.85 is my over-the-board rating going into November. My goal was 1,600. I had my chances. But the pass is dead. And I'm 1585, which means I'll be roughly the 150th rated athlete in the state of Missouri, and between the 87th and 90th percentile of over-the-board players in America. Between 87 and 90th percentile is a much more accurate indication of my ability than chess.com's rating, which puts me in the top, 0.3 percentile. I don't have a problem. But I used the USCF rating estimator to guess what I need to do this Saturday and or Sunday to pass 1,600. Completely random guessing. I don't sit here and obsess over this all day. Yeah, I need to beat a 1465 or better. Lucky guess. First try. Interestingly, I've not struggled much against competition slightly below my level. I'm incredibly consistent. Hello, viewers. But I almost never beat players 50 points higher than me or better. I expected consistency to come last. Nova, Booth. Come, Booth, Nova. Booth with that. Booth. Woof, 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 woof. Come on, Booth. Nova, Booth. Come here, Nova. She's so pretty. Say, Dad, walk this puppy. Stop playing chess. Come here. We'll walk. Here, you come see me for 30 minutes and we'll go walk. Come here. What do you think about it, Monster? Oh, man. What's up, Max? Yeah, I know you are, Max. Despite Hikaru Nakamura's beliefs about adult improvers, I don't suffer from dementia just yet. I'm only 30. I'm chilling. I'm chilling too. I'm chilling, Max. Completely relaxed, normal 30-year-old man here with no vices. But I figured I would every now and then defeat a 1,700, 1,800 player, but I wouldn't always beat players at my level. Of my last 10 games, I can only think of one. No, I know I've only had one loss against an athlete that's quite a bit lower rated than me. And it was a shorter time control. He played well. He had the white pieces, I believe. But the upsets against higher rateds are not coming, which goes against the premise of my channel, which until Magnus Carlsen refused to play Hans Niemann, terrible marketing approach, guys, terrible marketing. Whole premise of my channel, I first called it One Night Stand with a chess knight, of course, spelling it Knight, because I'm not saying I'm better. I'm not saying I belong with the strong chess humans. I'm saying for one game, one day, I started doing this during COVID, we can overcome lack of confidence, bad luck, depression for one day at a time. So for one chess game, let's fight. I'll take my chances. Once I'm trained, maybe I'll get lucky and let me play Magnus Carlsen, the greatest chess athlete by far to ever live, in Madison Square Garden. What a great cap to the COVID era. How awesome for chess business. Like me or dislike me. Hey, he's a nobody. He just started playing because of COVID, and he's crazy enough to fight the best chess athlete ever. And of course, once I'm trained, and have 3 or 4 more years of experience, and even when I got my ass kicked, hey, that's mainstream. Everybody can play chess. Look, Magnus Carlsen's shaking Dayton's hand, and there's a bunch of nobodies that like music and grew up playing American football with their arms around Magnus Carlsen. And download chess.com. And as soon as I moved to St. Louis, you can't write this shit. You could not have a Hollywood director script this any more cruel than how it happened. I moved to St. Louis. No one would reply to my applications. My first application I sent, I was visiting my friend Evan in Chicago, and all the variants were still happening because Chicago was locked down. Bars were closing at 11 in Chicago, downtown. Probably March of 2021 or February. And I remember before I went to see Evan, I was applying for chess.com part-time jobs because I was still distraught over my into corporate America. Went from having a nice house and a stable career to what the fuck happened. So part-time jobs, no reply. I applied and I started my YouTube channel not too long after I got back from Chicago, if I remember right. And I kept applying, campus outreach. I'm fine with tech, user experience stuff, especially that's not heavy code. Applied for those jobs, no reply, not even a no, not an interview, not a fuck you, just ignored. But we're inclusive, and I'm watching all these streamers. We're inclusive. And later Tyler won, and now they're paying a few streamers, and I like them. Emily Higgins, Emily Plays Chess, and some others, to try to get good at chess because that makes mainstream care. An average Joe trying to learn, man, that's me. That's actually me. That's relatable. And they can't figure it out at all. And on my own, with no incentive and no one telling me to do it, I am over 2,100 online. I moved to St. Louis on my own. Saw a table games dealing school on LinkedIn, applied. I had no referral, and I will always be grateful to the casinos in St. Louis for helping me when corporate lifers that were polished and we're Christian men just fucked me from behind computer screens and talked about kindness in America and ethics. And they helped me, and I've never felt so safe in my life, Uber driving with a possible gangster behind me, or at a blackjack table. And one time there was a bullet in the floor. And that's no one's fault. It's not like there's bad things happening. It's just rough part of the city. And I loved it because there was not one single pit boss that can dislike me and get rid of me like in corporate tech. One boss doesn't like you, or Indian leadership took over, and now we're getting Americans out. She can pretty much do that. I got like 8 pit bosses. If one doesn't like me and I don't know it, not my only direct boss. Great. And my second or third week, the 2022 Sinkfeld Cup was happening. I'm introverted, but I'm not going to complain. I'm only 26 at the time, 27 maybe. I'm going to go network, get my name out there. I'm going to make this happen. Here's my YouTube channel. Got some autographs. And not a few days later, I met the number 8 rated athlete in the world at the time at the casino. And I scared the shit out of him because it's not like he's the shortstop for the St. Louis Cardinals. But by skill in his respective field, he's much stronger. But people don't know chess players in America, and I do. So I called him by his name. Hey, how's it going on my break? And he said, "You're a chess fan? You're a chess fan?" I said, "Yeah. What's up, man?" He said, "Did you hear what Magnus Carlsen did?" I haven't checked the games from today. I'm assuming he won. And this also very strong chess athlete goes, "No. Magnus Carlsen dropped out of the tournament." Why? And with no explanation, the number 8 athlete in the world at the time goes, "He can't do that." What am I getting myself into? Is it corporate politics times a million? And of course, then there's the story all over social media. Magnus Carlsen withdraws from the 2022 Sinkfeld Cup, accuses Hans Niemann of cheating, and then later wouldn't play Hans Niemann. I won't even tell you why. I won't even talk to you. And I'm missing my family. I'm in a new city where I don't know a soul. And every night on my drive home from the casino, which is about, from my old casino, 25 minutes with no traffic, which there was never traffic because it was early morning. Like, what am I doing? The whole premise of my YouTube channel is for one game I might get lucky. After I'm trained and I work my ass off for the best years of my life, I might get lucky and draw against Magnus Carlsen for one game. And there are jokes way before 2022 of me saying, now if I get lucky, no questions, I'm out, no re-challenge. How'd I do it? Doesn't matter. There's one game against Magnus Carlsen. Okay, well, Hans Niemann was a prodigy, and I've seen interviews where Shahadi, I believe his name is Greg, whoever did the camps when Hans Niemann was a kid, saying, yeah, Hans Niemann was on a different level. His intuition was better than any kid I've ever seen. To paraphrase, even in positions where, a kid's not going to know what to do, he seemed to somehow have a feel. Exactly how you would define a prodigy. He didn't cheat. He was weird. He's a little suspicious, always has been. Kind of an asshole. Kids didn't always like him. Amazing talent. What was I doing when I was that age that Hans Niemann was getting accolades and recognition for having grandmaster potential? I was a decent baseball player who was never invited to any chess tournaments. Okay, so if he's too good to play Hans Niemann or even talk to him or look at him, and Hans Niemann, even if he were cheating, which he didn't, is a top 50 talent in the world, and he was young at the time. He's still young. Well, my life would be over if I got lucky. And then I cried. As soon as I moved to St. Louis, the whole point of my YouTube channel went out the fucking window. Out of despair and not wanting to return home to prove to my family I'm an idiot. I'm a failure. Okay, well, instead of some type of chess influencer trying to get a job, I'm going to play chess because I'm already here. But I don't want to touch them. I don't want to be in the same room as Carlsen or any of the people who bought his company. Because even if Hans Niemann had been guilty, how arrogant you asses, you ugly asses, corporate slime bags, chess.com, how arrogant can you be to not wait at least a month after you acquire Play Magnus to ban Hans Niemann? Even if he were cheating and said, I'm cheating now, I cheated then, I'm just a cheater, even if he said that, just to avoid ridicule and appear somewhat normal, how on earth do you think it's a good idea to ban Hans Niemann right as you're acquiring Magnus Carlsen's company? It's not my place to speak about the chess mafia. It's not your place to get involved in over the board, which is what you did. You wedged yourself into over the board discussions because you think your shit's more important than it is. And it's no more your place to touch Hans Niemann's reputation than it is mine to call you fucking idiots. But all my early games are logged on chess.com, and it is a fine application. So we're doing it. I'm going to keep doing it until I'm 1,800 over the board. Yeah, it's not about being fair, Max, and I appreciate your comment. There's unfairness, there's life is hard, and then there is cruelty. this is the best way I can put it, Max, and I like your comment. I do agree with you. Got to overcome adversity. I was an like you commented, baseball and football player. I chose to try to play baseball in college, but I was a better football player. So I went on recruiting visits to several D2 schools and NAIA schools. I was nowhere near Division I athlete. But what made me decide to play baseball is on one of my recruiting trips, I can't remember which NAIA school it was. We were in the weight room, and I'm looking at what these guys lift and stuff, and I'm thinking, yeah, they're stronger, they're faster, they're more, but you know, maybe they weren't when they were my age. I was 18. And I talked to one of the players, and instead of being welcoming, he was trying to scare me away because he was a receiver as well. And I remember in the weight room meeting that possible teammate of mine. And this was not Division I. This was not people that are going to the NFL. These are people that are going to play for 4 years and be done with football forever. Good players. And he said, yeah, that guy that got injured, I'm not glad it happened. But now his spot's up for grabs. And if we have to, you know, indicating they were willing to take out a young man's knees if it meant they got the job. Their own teammate getting injured is good in one person's mind. That's not honest competition. That is not, I'm going to work harder to get faster and run my routes better and learn the playbook better and stay out of trouble, not go to parties so I'm rested. That is, I want someone else to get hurt so I can succeed, which is where one goes from competitor to a monster. And if unfairness happens, you know, you get injured and someone else takes your job, that's the unfairness that Max is referring to. Not, I'm going to go out of my way to defame or injure another person. And in my mind, right or wrong, and I'm not perfect, Carlson and chess.com will always be like on that recruiting visit. I'm going to go out of my way to hurt somebody. Not it just happened, not life's unfair. Oh, well, I'm going to make it happen so I can win. There is no need to go out of our way to make life more difficult on another person. If bad luck happens, sure. Life's hard. Since Max is so kind to join the stream, let's reply to Max first. And there should also be a certain level of appreciation for how good we have it in America. Don't complain, suck it up, be grateful. Yeah, if we just shut up, what they mean is shut up, because you can't take it. Well, okay, we can turn into a third world country. There are ways to state what happened to us or seek justice without being entitled. Just because someone was wrong doesn't mean we should always just say, oh, well, at least we live in America. No, because then all that wrong keeps happening and America's not so great anymore. No, not the conditional moves, Max. Don't do it, man. Let's not do that. Seriously. Please tell me you don't have another one. Okay. Max, please stop. Please stop. This is not how you get better at chess. No more conditional moves. I'm serious about this. You're not thinking, even if you make fine moves and you're anticipating well, there's no need to make conditional moves. Stop. I quit. I'm not doing this. I'm going to rest and get ready for over the board. What an absolute joke. And to kiss people's asses who've gotten good. Let me show you before I log off, and I'm not wasting my time today. I'm better than this. It's not about overcoming that receiver. It's about wanting to be able to give my kid a piggyback ride one day or coach my own son and throw him baseballs. You don't take out someone's knees for NAIA football, which led me to play baseball and not do a very good job of it because I was better at football. I like football more. Now, if you're going to give me a chance to play in the NFL and I'm that talented where I make enough money that if I get injured, and of course in Division I, there's more eyeballs, there's better nutritionists, et cetera, where no one's taking out anyone's knees. But my point was, yeah, overcome that receiver, overcome adversity, but also fight for some things because there's certain adversity that should just never happen, like taking out a teammate's knee so you can have his job. But this is a real chess player. And the strongest I've found of adults who did not know how the pieces moved until COVID lockdown. Ah, shit. She's strong. I'm slightly stronger than her in speed chess, I believe, but rapid is the gold standard of online chess, and she's quite a bit better than me. Of course, I'm going to return to my rapid climb in 2026. We'll see how good I actually am. But 2,200, and she's played legitimate openings, as well as attending a chess club. I believe she's from North Dakota. So she has an over-the-board rating and understands real chess, which is over-the-board chess. 2,200 is good. Now, she was in college and had less responsibilities. I have a dog. I was moving to a new city, working at night and stuff. I think my potential is still greater. There's a lot of stories from like Hikaru Nakamura and his brother, for example, where someone who might be a little bit more IQ smart gets strong, figures things out quicker, but in the long run doesn't have to struggle, doesn't learn to be creative, doesn't learn good habits like sleeping after a loss. And Hikaru, when people thought his brother would be better, suddenly Hikaru ends up being the strongest in the world or close to it. And his brother fizzles out. And I don't even think his brother's a chess player. He just became like a master. A master is still strong, but not compared to Hikaru Nakamura. And I'll probably be without, the crazy accomplishments Nakamura earned because he started younger and he's probably more gifted than me. I will be in that category where I'm certainly much smarter than the average person, and I figured it out faster than the average person. But people like Tyler One might be a little bit more IQ smart than me. So they jump quick, and then they stop, and they completely quit. I don't know her. She might be more like what I'm describing, and she keeps going. But I know I will. But her compared to Tyler One, there is no comparison. She will beat him every fucking time. And, of course, no one's trained against the cow opening because it's stupid. It's really a cruel trick from an otherwise kind person who is Anna Cramling, a very kind person, seemingly. She's helping me. She's my friend, the cow opening, the cow. And Anna's going home to her parents. And Pia, I think her dad's name is Juan. Juan, yeah. Anna is going home to Pia and Juan, and they're laughing at Tyler One. Hey, you sabotaged that new chess athlete, sweetheart. That's cruel. And Anna's going, but look how funny it is. He thinks he's good at chess. Anna knows the cow is a dog shit opening. But my point is, Cameron, who I just showed, without ever knowing about the cow opening, would pick it apart and kill him. He is no good at chess. Yet, Levy Rosman wants to give him GM thumbnails and shit to fuel his ego. How are the Dakotas? I've never been to North or South Dakota, Max. But to kiss anyone's ass until they are 2,200, I've been saying an anytime control on chess.com, but I'm going to switch that to rapid. Probably 2200 in rapid time control. And or 1800 over the board. Yeah, Magnus Carlsen was once a 1000 rated player. So, of course, you have to learn. If you have never been introduced to chess, you have to learn no matter how talented you are because you start at 0. But until you reach 1800 over the board and or 2200 online, I'm not there myself, but you're just not a real chess player. Because we're kissing people's asses for finding things like a queen fork. This is 2100. It's a joke. Oh. What do you like about them, Max? What do you like about the Dakotas? Talk me into it. You're a tour guide. And whether you starve or eat the most expensive filet depends on whether or not you sell me on taking a vacation to North Dakota. Go. You don't much recommend it. Well, Max is starving. Hope he continues to improve at chess, which he is, because he won't make it as a salesman. Let me guess, you hate Utah too, Max? Tell me about a state that you would recommend. Good. Okay, I'll go to Utah. But I'm staying away from the Dakotas, apparently. All right, Max. Lego man. Let's look at his profile real quick, then I'm signing out. Max to life, that's what it is. 1243, Max, let's go. Let's go. You've got potential. I see great things in your future, Max. 12, you're basically 1300, Max. One away from that 1300 milestone, my friend. All right, Max, for next time, don't answer this now. For next stream, if you could dedicate all the time, if everything goes your way, what is the highest rapid rating you think you could achieve? Unlimited amount of time. Your peak. And be optimistic. Shoot high. I want to hear it next time, Max. And I want to hear it over 2000.